How'd you feel first game, Luke's command of the offense and his connection with the new group of receivers?
I thought it was okay. It wasn't great. It wasn't what I think any of us really wanted it to be. What had been in practice had been really sharp. We just weren't quite as sharp. All in all, there's some really good stuff. A lot of great teaching opportunities. Luke's in total command of the offense. There's no questioning that. And we just, the passing game was just a little bit out of sync. Something we got to go hard to work on this week to make your biggest improvement between 1 and 2. And I'm confident we'll establish a better rhythm.
Is that expected? I mean, with the receivers, with you guys?
I think so.
Game reps.
I think so. I think that's part of it. It's, games are just different, and they just are. And so it's just part of the first game. And, we still completed the ball at a pretty high rate and made some good plays. But anybody that watched the game would see that we're just a little missing stuff here or there, and it's not, totally out of the realm of normalcy. That happens in the first game. So, but did some good things overall. We got some stuff to get cleaned up.
Was it just the way it worked out Friday, or did you maybe have a feeling that Justin Bowen could be a red zone target?
Yeah, I mean, he specifically was tagged for one of the routes that he caught, the one on this end here. I think that was in the third quarter. I can't remember, second quarter. The one he caught down in the student section in. That was specifically tagged for him. He had shown that he ran that route really well. So I wasn't surprised on that one because we called for him to be in there in that moment. And then we were just kind of rotating in the first part when he ran the little catch on the other end, a little whip route. Not surprised at all, though. He's a really good talent that's played in football games before and had some nice moments the other day, but had some things got to get cleaned up too. He's kind of a microcosm of the whole day a little bit for us passing game wise. I mean, did some really good things, but got things to get cleaned up, and that goes across the board at every position.
Saw a little bit of 13 personnel for you. What do you like about that look, particularly in the red zone and the options it gives you?
Well, I like the surfaces it creates and the physicality those guys bring to the table. So it's really just kind of a simple mix of a grouping that we believe in.
What stands out to you about the defense?
Well, I think they're. I know they play extremely confident and very hard, and it's very impressive to watch how hard they play. And the scheme's got a lot of complexity to it, so they thrive off getting you off schedule, and we're going to have to try to battle that by staying on schedule, and that's kind of the ultimate battle there. They've got a lot of respect for what they're doing and how they're doing it, and it pops off on the film.
Obviously, you went against Penn State. Personnel is different. You've seen similarities from what you've seen in there to what you went up against, and how does that help you at all?
Yeah, there's some similarities. There's a blueprint there, but even the first game has a different flavor than what some of the last year's stuff had, and that's part of the cat and mouse game of as we go into games of what to prepare for, what not to prepare for on both sides. It goes both ways, I would assume, and so, but yeah, just going over the last couple of years, the structure dating back out here, the structure of the defense, and to your point, the teams are different, but the belief system, the foundation of the belief system hasn't changed much. It's evolved, but the foundation hasn't changed a whole lot, and they believe in what they're doing, and there's good reason because they play it very well and cause a lot of people problems.
What were your thoughts on the run game and the run blocking in the first game against Western Illinois?
Yeah, I thought it was okay. I think we did some scheme. It was really kind of varied by scheme. To be honest with you, some of the schemes we did, I thought we ran the wide zone really well, A to Z, and some of our gap schemes were not near as efficient or near as good, not as clean. So some highs and lows there in that facet of the game. Thought the backs ran really well, really hard, and there was times where we were really clean the run game, but we got to be cleaner this week. We had much more challenge, a lot more movement, a lot more targeting issues and things of that nature. But all in all, it was a good start. But just like every other area, including myself, like some things that get cleaned up.
Those hiccups in the gap plays, was that communication thing or physical one-on-one matchups?
Yeah, it wasn't physical. It was a lot of communication and fronts changing, spots, IDs, technique, those types of things, And there was a lot of good examples of us and things we got to get cleaned up in the gap world.
Barry, going all the way back to your experience at the college level at Arkansas with the tight end position, does having a variety of skill sets and maybe bodies at that position allow you to free yourself up for what you like to do and what you like to call?
Well, I mean, I think just philosophically, that position, it's really hard to recruit two guys that are real similar. Yeah. They all have a unique skill set in that room, and that's that's typically speaking, when
Sure.
in my time at Arkansas, when we were at our best at that position, we had 3 guys that all played in the NFL. They're all 3 uniquely different in what they brought to the table. And so, I think that it's not necessarily an intentional strategy, I mean, if you could go all, recruit guys that were all, a similar skill set, it'd make things nice, but it's just hard. And so because of that, it creates niches, strengths and weaknesses for that group that you kind of have to build the game plan around. And so I do like the depth that room brings, and I do like the different characteristics that those guys bring to the table to allow us to be multiple and really use them.
When did you see Hank really put it all together? I'm assuming at some point last season. Is there anything that sticks out with you?
Well, the thing that sticks out to me is just how steady he is and has been. I mean, I think back to, it was funny the other day, I was telling the offense, I think the other day was my 39th game. It's not hard to do the math. 39th game as the offensive coordinator, which is a great honor for me, and I was telling the offense that, and I made eye contact with Hank, and I was like, shoot, this is probably Hank's 39th game to play here as well, and it made me think about like when he was a true freshman just in Indiana, catching a 3rd down slant, and he's just been the same guy since then. I mean, he's gotten physically just improved and better, and he's grown and with the strength staff and just developed his body and all that, but he's the same DNA that he was when he first got here. And I really thought the bowl game last year was kind of a defining moment for him and for, the play that he made in the 3rd quarter, or the 4th quarter, I should say, on the 3rd down play was like, it was just one of the better plays of the year when he went up and elevated and made that play. And it was really eye-opening to a large degree to a lot of people. And the way he elevated when he got that ball, I mean, I think he took his game to a whole nother level there, and he's continued that through spring and fall, and it showed up in the game the other day.
Aiden Alfrey starting to finish some of these runs over the last, dating back to last year. I think Khalil, I don't know if it was patience, how have those guys gotten better over the last year that you've had them?
Yeah, just gotten better overall football IQ, maturity, and, just trusting the rules and principles. Dad says it all the time, and I see him living that on a daily basis. They've got a roadmap, a blueprint on how to play the position, and, you can't coach some of the things at the point of attack, but you can give them some help, and then, so they just play the position real disciplined, and all of our backs do, and there's that breeds consistency in how they see things, how they read things, the routes, the protection. So really pleased with how they've done so far.
And Luke, after the game, talked about how Friday night was just a game where just the ball didn't get to Colin, but he's still kind of impressed with what he did to be away from it. Just what did you see from Colin? It's not as a target, but
Yeah, it was the game kind of unfolded where the X's had a little bit more of the targeting, and it wasn't necessarily intentional. And some of the routes that were primary for the Z or Colin never got unfolded, and that happens. Happens sometimes in the course of the season. That'll all even out, and I know what Luke is saying, and he says on a daily basis how much he believes and trusts in Colin, and among others in that room. But I know they've got a strong rapport, and Colin's earned that right for Luke to say that, and he's earned that right for us to continue to find ways to make sure he gets the ball and affects the game.
How valuable has Des Schuster's kind of health and getting back into the pro football been for you to have a swing tackle in that second unit there?
Yeah, he was a nice camp surprise, just because he just hasn't been real consistent in regards to just his time on the field. He's had battled a lot of things, a lot of injuries, and when he came back this fall, and when he finally got back in there, he really jumped, and really is playing his best football that he's played for us, and that's a good feeling to have a guy that has got his ability to kind of, his game is kind of matching that in a lot of ways. So I was real pleased with even just the moments he had, and thought he did some good stuff. He's going to continue to get better every week.
That's good. What's the key going on the road for an early game like this against a power conference opponent? You guys have had experience with it. What's the key?
Well, obviously it's a whole different vibe when you go on the road. You got to be buttoned up, and there's a lot of things to think through. The routine changes, and for the new guys that have been with us the first time to travel, there's a lot of things to work through there. But really, more than anything, it's about the week 1 to week 2 improvement. It's been around for years and years in football, and we've all heard it. And you know, you should make your biggest jump and improvement between 1 and 2. Duke's going to have afforded the same opportunity, but we're going to have to make a big jump to go take on a road team team on the road that's a really good football team. Won a lot of games last year, really good defensively, and so it's really just about making that jump from 1 to 2, all the while managing, like just some of the small details that go into the road games, especially for the new guys. And so the older guys that have been through it know how we travel and know what it's expected to go and how to win on the road. They got to help lead that group, and they'll follow. So looking forward to the challenge.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.